All right, welcome, Jake Talk Podcast. Real talk, real people, real situations. We are in the cafe. Yeah, we're in the cafe, and I am so excited to have a special guest on with us on today. First of all, before we get started and introduce this mighty woman, I had a chance to look her up and everything. So before we get to her, you know how we do it in the cafe: get you something to drink, some caffeine in your system, some tea, some whatever makes you happy. That's it. That's it. What's is that? Water? Is that water?
It is water with collagen in it.
Okay. So we have a player safer, but a little extra in it. We call people drink water. They play safe in the cafe. So that'll work. That'll work. So welcome again. Once to get you something to drink, y'all. We're gonna have a great discussion today. We won't before you long. We have a great discussion today. I'm so excited to have Miss Shawnti. I said it right. I said it right.
Hmm
All right,
hmm
Miss Shawnti in the house with us on today in the cafe. So here we are. Here we are. Um, First of all, tell us about yourself. First of all, introduce yourself to the cafe people. Introduce yourself to the cafe people.
Sure. My name is Shawnti Refuge. I am a master certified mental health coach. I'm a mental health advocate, keynote speaker, and author of the best selling book Quiet is Kept. And I advocate for women, especially black women, to release from their past traumas, address them, face them, and heal through them. And I do that with the healing tool called guided journaling. And that's something that helped me in my process of overcoming. And so I was like, okay, well then I know other people want to do this too
Yeah.
without medication, so let's get into it. And I've been doing it ever since 2021.
Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. So you said that coming through past trauma, things like that. I know one of the reasons we even started this podcast was due to I'm a pastor. I'm a pastor. I pastor a church. Been doing it for about 17 years now. I'm a little bit older than I look, but I, a lot of times, and I saw something you had posted. A lot of times we try to heal and talk to people, and encourage people, and sometimes we get super churchy. So I'm a pastor, but sometimes we get super churchy, and
Mm-hmm.
yes, God can do all things. He said that God
Absolutely.
can do all things. I'm not going to, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
a testimony. He can do that. But when you talk to somebody who don't know God, and I think that's a good way of just saying, hey, all right, work it out for your own, and then we move on. you know.
That's
We
it.
just say move on. So when you're talking to people, like I said, I looked up something you posted, and it really caught my eye. I'm very nosy. I'm a Facebook nosy person. I am. They know me on here. You said something. This was posted. I want to say it was 2 days ago. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
You said stop ignoring red flags. Start seeing them as stops, signs, not challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have you on here to explain that to me. When I saw that, I'm like, I'm not gonna let her off until she explained that post to me. Yeah, that hit something.
I'm looking up the post myself. Yes, I did post it a couple of days ago. And, what I meant by that is we always, I speaking from experience as well, I would always want to see the good in people, no matter what they were showing me. Whatever the red flags was waving hard, like, don't you see? And, for me, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I see your red flags. That's a challenge. I'm going to get past that. I'm going to help you change that.
uh,
And what it does, it weighs us down because we are fighting to prove that red flag wrong when they are clearly showing, hey, this is my red flag. It ain't
mm.
nothing you can do about it, which it isn't anything you can do about it. If a person is showing you a red flag, baby, you need to stop and turn around. Go the other way, not see it as a challenge. Because I used to always say, "Oh, I welcome a challenge. I love a challenge," and I do. But if you showing me off top, okay, this is my red flag. I'm not gonna discount that red flag.
Mm.
You know, I'm not gonna see past that red flag
Wow.
and be like, "Oh, I can help you with that. I ain't worried about that red flag." And in the end, it wears me out because you
Yes,
still holding
yes.
that red flag.
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, and I definitely want to get into. I truly believe in, and I will say this if you was on. I've had a couple of guests on here. Um, I don't know if it was raised by my grandmother or what, raised by these strong saints, these strong women. Um, I have this thing of empowering black women. it's nothing like seeing a woman that's power that's making their way, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't see a lot of it. And so when I see, I've had a guest on here, another lady on here, and she was like, that was her whole thing. Her whole thing was encouraging women to know they're the head and not the tail. They're victorious, not
Exactly.
victims. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I saw your post and when you reached out to me, I said, and I looked at your background. I said, got to have her on here. I got to have her on here. But let me ask you this question first before we jump into that. You did you ever like? I know when I was in high school, I was Mr. Fix It. Like I was that guy. I was Mr. Fix It. Like
Mm-hmm.
you had issues going on, and I was like the high school counselor without the degree, without the background. Come to me. We can work that thing out, and then make you laugh. That was how I used to end up dating because I was Mr. Fix It. You know what? He's not treating
Mm-hmm.
you right. I can treat you right. Let me show you how you should be treated. And it was a challenge, like you say. It was that challenge, right? It was that
Yeah.
challenge, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I would lose. I would lose because sometimes I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it. So you speak and you empower women. What is
Mm-hmm.
something you would say to one right now? She's looking at us right now in the cafe. What is one advice that you would give to her?
I would tell her that, sis, you are not your past. You are not what or who they said you were. You are not what you did
Hmm.
yesterday, 25 years ago, 50 years ago. That's not you. And you don't have to live up to that, you know, based on what everybody else says. Oh, she did this, she did. No. You have the power within you to rewrite your story any way that you see fit. And it's not up to whoever said what about you. People told me that I wasn't gonna graduate high school. I was gonna have 5 kids right behind each other and blah blah blah. And baby, I was more than happy to prove them wrong. So I know if I can do that, you can do it as well. You can do anything,
Wow,
absolutely anything. But you have to step out in faith and leave that fear behind, because fear will always cripple us if we let it.
man. I did a podcast on that. Fear unchecked.
Mm-hmm.
Fear unchecked. And I think that's one of the things the devil used. That's one of the things the enemy used. That's things the family
Absolutely.
used. It's things that everyone
Yes.
used is the fear factor. The fear
Yep.
factor. I just started doing full time ministry after 17 years. I was a chaplain at a prison, maximum
Mm-hmm.
security prison for a long time, and that stepping out on faith, that was could have been done a long time ago. But fear, you know, paused a lot of that. You know,
Yep.
and I think a lot of people use that tool, um, especially. I mean, I would say I can speak from a church standpoint, especially in the church. Fear tactic. Hey, come down and give your life to Christ. If not, you're gonna die tomorrow. You're gonna die tomorrow. You're going to hell tomorrow. If you don't make it,
Right.
you're gone. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we deal with a lot of that, even with, like I say, within the church. Now, the reason I brought this up was that when we talk about, I think women get a bad rep in church, in the place where love's supposed to be, right? A bad rep. It's like, and we're very honest here on the cafe. We're very super honest here on the cafe. We always say we have no sense, but we get it done here on the cafe. Okay. One of the things that I have seen in the church, and I thank God I pastored the church I pastored. Lord have mercy, something better. Is that the the men could get away with what they want to get away with. It's
Of
just us
course.
being men. It's just pastor being the pastor, the deacon being the deacon, the elder being the elder. But as soon as so and so, like you say, end up pregnant, or she got divorced. Not I mentioned she was getting beat this entire time, but she got divorced. Now it's time to excommunicate her. Or let's sit her
Mm-hmm.
down. She don't need to be singing in the choir. She's not a good example for the church. Talk to the church. What would you say to us leaders um, in the
Baby,
church?
you
Go
sure
and get
you
it. Get us.
wanna
Get us.
answer?
Get us. We do it. Get us. Get us. Get us.
Yes, absolutely. Women get a bad rep in church while men get grace on a silver platter. And when a woman gets pregnant out of wedlock, she's shamed. She sat down, talked about in circles. But the man, he's still singing solos and leading Bible study as if he did. It takes
Preaching
two.
heaven down.
It's like it creates a culture where women carry shame publicly, while men hide sin privately, and a spiritual place where women are taught to suffer in silence, and that's what's driving our increase in our mental health issues.
Mm,
A lot of us, a lot of women, we walk away from church not because we've lost faith in God, but because we tired of being judged, we're tired of being silenced, and we are spiritually gaslit.
wow,
And it's not right.
wow.
It works both ways. That woman didn't get divorced by herself. That woman didn't, have a baby out of wedlock by herself. It takes two. And instead of shaming our women for being human beings, we should create a safe space for them to. Church is where we're supposed to be able to go,
Yeah,
no matter what we have done, who we did it with, how we did it, how long
you
ago we
preaching,
did it. We should be
you
able
preaching,
to go into church
you
and feel
preaching,
safe.
preach.
And when our church becomes a non-safe space, where are we going? Places we don't have no business going.
Wow,
Talking to people we don't have no business talking to
wow.
about what we're going through. But they understand and they're not being judgmental because they doing their stuff too. And so that's why you got people like me. I would go in church and stand up and say, "Yes, I did this, and this, and I'm still here because
Yeah,
God kept me.
yeah.
I don't care
And
what
see,
God got to say.
the enemy doesn't like that. The enemy hates that.
I know,
Like,
and I love it.
and see, and that's why you're rare. You're different because you're different because, and I think that that comes from, if we be honest and transparent, that comes from, I think that comes from the struggle. The struggle made you stronger.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't run from that struggle. The struggle's there. It is what it is. I tell people all the time. I tell people all the time. I say, listen, if you go through something, if you're going through something, use it.
Yes.
I mean, come on, use it. You know what I'm saying? Use that struggle. Why would I go through something and just to go through it? Like, okay, you did me the way you did me. I'm gonna take that. We know we always quote what the devil meant for evil, God used for good. So, okay, well, let's use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's use it. But like you said, what do you see? What do you see? And I got another question. What do you see? You mentioned mental health within the church because I
Mm-hmm.
know we did a workshop. I was in a workshop about mental health in the church, and we're quick to pray over it, and then we send them on their way and say, "Well, it's just going to
Mm-hmm.
God take care of God take care of them," which to me is really a cop out of, "Hey, that person needs help, needs
Absolutely.
mental health." What have you seen in regards to the church and mental health? I mean, I see you deal with mental health. You're a mental health coach. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
What is a mental health coach? Let's start there first.
A mental health coach is someone, me, who helps people to. First of all, we all have mental health. I don't care where you come from, how you're doing, what's your nationality, race, sex, whatever it is. We all have mental health.
You're the
The
first
thing
person I ever heard
is,
say that. You're the first person I've
yes,
ever heard say that before.
we
Ever.
all have mental health. Now, is your mental health good or is your mental health not so great?
Wow.
That's where it comes in. And so, a mental health coach, me, I help those who are teetering on, okay, I'm burned out, I'm overwhelmed, I'm holding on to stuff I need to let go of, I don't know how. That affects our mental health. It affects, our daily lives, it affects our relationships, it affects us as a whole. So, my job is to help you improve your mental health, but only if you're willing to do the work, because I can't do it for you. So that's what a mental health coach is. I take you out of that, whatever you did in 1987 that nobody cares about no more but you still holding on to it. I get you from there, and I get you here in the present so you can live your purpose-driven life. Because you're definitely not living in your purpose if you're still worried about something you did 20 years ago.
And the people that forgot it moved on.
Yeah.
I told
Every
somebody
now
one
and then
time.
somebody will bring it back up like it happened yesterday,
Yeah.
and it gets you back in that cycle. And that's what they hear. That's like you said, the enemy comes to
Wow.
kill, steal, and destroy. So I'm here. I'm one of those people that come in and be like, no, we're not going there. We're gonna leave
Yeah.
that back there. Yeah, you did it. Yeah, you said it. Yes, it happened. Now what?
That's a lot of power. What's the quote off the Malcolm X movie when they said that's too much power for one man to have. that's a lot of power for somebody to have that
Uh-huh.
affecting you for decades later, and they
Yeah,
probably dead and gone, and
exactly.
we're still, you know,
Exactly. So
in
that's
that.
why I come in and say, we getting up, sis. We not worrying about that. We don't
Come
care
on.
what they said. Who are they? They ain't nobody.
But I think you said something else. You said that they have to want. They have to want to.
Yeah, of course. I'm not a fixer. I can't fix anybody. I cannot heal anybody. All
Yeah.
I can do is help you.
And I tell the church one time. I said, some people, and we have to be careful because some people are complacent in their crisis.
Mhm.
They're complacent. They've mastered their misery. Like this is my house. This is my misery house. I got my cable here. I get my internet here. I'm not trying to move because this is what I know. Matter of fact, if peace knocked on my door, I wouldn't even know what it was because I've been
Yeah,
so
they're
stuck in this
used
for
to
so
chaos. That's
long.
what the Lord told me to tell you. They're used to drama. They're used to chaos. They're used to
Uh-huh.
all of that. So yeah.
So you coach them to get up to get themselves dusted off
I
and keep
show
on
them
going.
that it's possible. And how I show it, baby, I spill all my tea. I tell all my business.
Wow,
Because looking at me, you'll never know
wow,
what I've been through. You will never know it.
wow,
But I'm
wow.
going to tell you, because it's real. This is what it looks like to be on the other side. Don't you want to be on the other side with me? Come
See,
on over here.
let me tell you about that. You said, okay. I tell people all the time the issue with the church right now is that people aren't transparent, and it's funny you
Uh-huh.
saying that. People aren't transparent.
No.
People have testimonies, but it's just enough testimony for you to know I know the Lord. That's about it. But baby, I see you next to me on drugs. Would you know
Mm-hmm.
I was on drugs at one time?
Mm-hmm.
This is where I started. Alcohol. This is where I started. Pornography. All this. This is where I started. Molestation. This is where I started, and I
Yeah.
didn't let that hold me back. We don't talk enough in church.
No, we don't.
We don't talk enough, and I think that's why we need people like you who like look. I don't care what y'all
Yeah.
think. Look at me.
Okay, baby. I will grab that mic and be like, look, yes, it was me. I did this. Yes, I do. Because there's nothing for me to be ashamed of because it's not about me anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
It ain't
yeah.
about me.
Oh wow, wow, wow. Another thing I tell people all the time, I said, and maybe you might notice this as well. Is that what I'm glad that you're working, doing what you're doing, especially. And I want to find out about your book. You said you're author. I want to know about that. And I also saw that you got an event that's coming up as well that you're involved in April something sometime this month. Speaking or doing something or something.
Oh, baby,
Life.
look at my
Look at you.
calendar
Look
right
at you. Look at you. I need to be a secretary. You on the flyer. You're on the flyer with two other people. See, okay, get your calendar. You need to look at your calendar, and you supposed to be somewhere. You not probably gonna not be there.
here. I am busy. I am busy. So yes,
Hey
every
man,
weekend I gotta come go and look. Yes. Oh yes, I am
look,
doing.
look
I'm
at you.
doing a couple of things in April this month. I am doing an in person event. I'm doing an event for young girls on self esteem. I'm doing
Wow.
that, and then I'm doing a lot of stuff. Let's see. And on that same day, I am doing the African American Wellness Agency Men's Walk.
Okay.
To help our black men, get their physical and their mental together, because we
Yeah.
need y'all.
Yeah, Lord. Yes, Lord. We
And
dying daily.
I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to
Yeah. I just saw one. Hold on. I just said one flyer. I just saw one flyer with you, a lady, and a guy on there. That's the one I was talking about. But
Oh,
you
that's the
mentioned.
one. Oh, that's this week. We're doing building
Yes.
financial
Yes.
confidence.
Yes.
Building financial confidence. That is with my brother Rayford Watts and Mick and Zeno. We are doing building financial confidence. It's a free 2 night event, and we are going to talk to y'all about me. I'm going to talk about your money mindset
Mhm.
and help you to unlearn those things that our mamas used to tell us, like money don't grow on trees. Yes, it does. And talking about, do you have McDonald's money? Yeah, you do.
Wow.
I'm here to take the fear out of money. Because if
Wow.
we afraid of money, we'll never have it. Or we
Correct.
ain't going to keep it for long. And that's why we spend money on stuff we don't even need because we scared to hold on to it. So, no, I erase that. I unlearn, help you to unlearn that. and then we're doing credit education, teaching people about their credit, and especially, we need more African American homeowners,
Yes.
business
Yes.
owners. So
Yes.
we are going to be talking about all of that, how to establish your credit, keep it, and I come in and tell you, don't spend all your money in one place. I know you used to hear that all the
We need
time,
that.
but
We
no,
need
for
that.
real,
We need to hear
yeah.
that. Now, where's that going to be at? Where's that going to be at for my
It's
East Coast?
online. It's
Online?
online.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
it's
online.
online.
Okay, so
So
we'll post. Is there a website to post or?
yeah, you can go to my website, ShawntiRefuge.com, and you'll see Building Financial Confidence under the upcoming events tab.
Awesome, awesome. We will definitely put that out, because that's one of the things also for this platform is bringing people the information, especially us, bring us the information that we
Yes,
need to be better, to be better, not a statistic, but to be better. You know,
exactly,
So
exactly.
I'm excited about that. So we're definitely going to talk that up. I definitely want to talk that up, get that information out to everybody, as well. You said something I want to bring up, and when you said it threw me off. I don't know. It'll come back to me. All right. So let me ask you this one question. I know your
Mhm.
time is coming, but let me ask you this one question as well. All right. So you said you believe healing can be holy and raw at the same time. Now let
Yes.
me say this. Let me say this first before you answer that question. You bring it up. You said I know. I remember what it was now. You said we were talking about the church, right? And I tell people all the time is that when we come to church, that's not the place where you come well. You don't get well to come to church.
Exactly.
I don't know where we got that misconception, or maybe too much TV, or we see the good part, but you don't get well to come to church. No one goes to the hospital well. Let's say visiting
Exactly.
somebody. You come
Exactly.
to church because you're sick, and the pastor ain't no different than the ones who's sitting out there. We just got a podium that's stuck between us. And wait a minute, the only thing that makes it harder for us as pastors is that we got to do it. We have to encourage you, study the word, preach the word, encourage you
Mhm.
while we're going through what we're going through.
Exactly.
And I think that's where people like you come in place because of the fact that people don't realize that pastors are at a high rate of committing suicide.
Yeah.
That's
All that
great. When I found
pressure
out
put
that
on
was
y'all. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. You know,
that's
some
ugh,
people, look at our pastors as being perfect. No man is perfect. Before he was a pastor, he was a man. He was a little boy.
still a
He,
man.
still goes through the same things that we go through.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a pastor.
And we put. I'm talking like I'm not a pastor because I tell people all the time. I said I have a relate. I'm not religious. I'm not religious. I have a relationship. I have a relationship with
Right.
Christ. That's what I do. I have a relationship. So me and God talk. We talk. We talk. Sometimes it's rough. Sometimes it's sweet. But we talk. Okay. And I think that's not enough talking going on, especially as pastors, that we have to be transparent. Now, some people can't handle all your transparency, but we also have to
Right.
find ways to get help, get help
Ex-
from mental health coaches.
Exactly.
I mean, I can read Luke, I can read the Gospels just so many times, but if I don't have someone sitting there with me and say, "Listen, man, listen, let's talk you off this ledge,"
Exactly.
especially after COVID, churches were going down, people were leaving, pastors. I mean, I was blessed that it didn't affect me because I was essential worker, so I was going nonstop. Would I
I
go back
was
to
too.
it? No, I was essential. The house I still left every day. It just had PPE
Hmm.
gear on when I did, But other than that, I still went to an empty office. I still was quarantined from my family for almost a month or so on the other side of the house. So yeah, it did hit the mental state. Friends dying, from it. So it did hit the mental state. So people have to be willing to get help. But you said healing can be holy and raw at the
Hmm.
same time.
Yes, it can be.
Talk to me.
Healing can be holy and raw at the same time because people like to fool you into thinking that healing has to look polished, it has to look quiet and put together to be valid. But no, healing is crying on the bathroom floor at 2 in the morning.
Come on.
It's cussing in one breath and praying in the next breath.
Wow.
Writing journal entries that's angry about people you still love and wanting to forgive but not knowing how to forgive. But God's still in it. God hasn't left it. So,
Oh,
you could be holy and still grieving. You could be chosen and still confused. And you can love Jesus and still feel like a mess some days.
wow.
That's our human aspect of us. But we've been taught that healing has to look, all prim and proper, happy Sunday smiles, and it's
Son is
ugly.
dead.
Healing is ugly. Healing is loud. Healing is messy, but it is still sacred. And because you are crying and questioning and cussing, don't mean God left the room.
Mm,
No, the
wow.
raw parts of healing don't cancel out the holy. It reveals it.
Ooh. It's like doing
You know,
construction on the building. You got to tear some
yeah.
stuff. I mean,
I used to think that I had to be perfect in God's presence, but what I've learned is that God is not intimidated by my tears, by my drama, or my truth. That's where the healing begins. So, not after I've cleaned it up, but when I'm brave enough to admit that it's broken, that's
yeah.
when your healing begins. So, if you have anybody coming to you looking already healed, baby, smoke and mirrors, because we all got something going on.
We have mastered our facade. We have mastered masquerade. I tell somebody one time. I say, you know what? We have one thing. Tyler Perry ain't the first person to to put on a wig. I'm sorry, caught you while you in your drink. He ain't listen. We have mastered how to church. We've mastered how to play church. We know when to say amen, when to say hallelujah. We know what to wear. We know all of those things, and all we've done is just covered up and delayed. I believe we've
Yes,
delayed
heavy on
delayed
that.
our healing.
Yes, you
Delayed our
delaying it.
healing.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's we're gonna have to talk more because it's so much. You have so much meat, and I know you have so much meat. I'm honest with you. The name of your book. What's the name of your book? Your author. Your author of
I
what?
am. The
What?
name of my book says back then. It's called Quiet is Kept.
Okay.
And it is about my journey, my healing journey. Like, it is very raw, very unapologetic. We're
Mm.
going to laugh, cry, be mad, and all that. But it tells my story of how I overcame child abuse. I was a teen mom. I was arrested, made a whole decade of bad choices, bad relationships, and how I had a nervous breakdown, and then how I overcame it, and how
And
you can
what's the name of the book again?
quiet is kept.
Quiet as kept. And where can we get that book
Everywhere books are sold, but if
from?
you love me like I know you do, you go to my website directly and buy it.
How about we're just gonna have your website. We're just gonna put your website up and say, listen, y'all go there and go shopping. Y'all find out events, right? The same website they
Yes,
can find events, books,
yes,
the whole nine yards. Okay.
everything.
Because I you have those what you call those stocking stuffers or whatever. I know some folks that book would probably really bless their soul. So
Yes,
we're gonna
it's
definitely
gonna
reach out and
bless
try to get
anybody
that.
who opens it and reads it and receives it.
Yeah, yeah. Got to be open. You got to be open. Now, one more thing. You said journaling. Journaling. I know someone. As a matter of fact, I journal. I journal. I
Yes.
matter of fact, when I read that you had mentioned about journaling, I said, man, I ain't journaled in a long time. And when I open that book, it's gonna be amazing to see. 'Cause I don't remember the last post I put in there. I mean, I
Mm.
journaled from when I was dating. Like that book is I was dating, when I was chasing my wife,
Oh,
trying to. Yeah,
go
Lord.
go read that.
I am. I like from way back when she was saying no, 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 and we're in the same choir, and I'm like, why? Because she look, she don't mind telling me she didn't like. She said she would never marry an athlete or a preacher.
Mm.
Neither two. She said she would not
You
marry
never
an
say
athlete or
no.
a preacher, and she ended up getting both of them. And I chased her. Lord, I'm talking about straight parking lot. Ooh, where's she? Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But when her mama prayer, my mom, and when her mama's prayer and my prayer met together, then I guess the Lord tripped her and everything. So, but you mentioned journaling, and journaling is a great thing to get out.
Yes.
Do you have to know how to
That
spell
that's
correctly to
that's
journal?
your source. When you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to,
Yeah.
get in your journal.
Yeah.
Because every all the answers that you're looking for, all the answers that we are looking for as a person, they're already inside of us. But sometimes it takes, you know, something to pull it out of us, and
Uh,
that is journaling. Especially my method of journaling. I don't just do regular journaling. I do guided journaling. So
So
guided
guided
journaling
journaling
is,
is,
let's say
let's
you
say
come
you
to
come
me
to
with
me
an
with an
issue
issue
about
about
self
self
awareness.
awareness.
Every
Every
question I'm
question
going to
I'm going
ask
to
you
ask
is
you
going to
is
be
going to be
about
about
self
self
awareness, and
awareness,
you
and you
answer
answer
those.
those.
And it
And it
keeps you
keeps you
focused on
focused
your
on your
topic,
topic.
and so
And
you
so
don't
you
veer
don't
off
veer
into
off into
stuff that
stuff
don't
that
even
don't even
matter. You
matter. You
stay
stay
right
right
here
here
on
on
self
self
awareness, and
awareness.
we
And
help
we
you
help
get
you get
self
self
aware. I
aware.
have
I
it
have it
for
for
self
self
esteem, I
esteem. I
have it
have
for
it for
relationships,
relationships.
I have
I
it
have
for
it for
rebuilding your
rebuilding your
relationship with
relationship with
God.
God.
You name
You
it, I
name it.
got it. And if I don't have it, I go make
mm, mm. Well,
it.
well, that's what I'm talking about. Well, listen. We listen. We always ends with this. We call it caffeine shot. Caffeine shot.
Ooh,
Okay, caffeine shot. So
right.
I'm gonna hit you three questions off the top
Okay.
of your head. Tell us what you got. All right.
Okay.
Y'all ready? Here we go. Here we go. All right. First one. First caffeine shot. What makes life for me worth living? What makes life for me worth living?
What makes life for me worth living is I have found my purpose. Through my pain, I found my purpose. So my life worth living is knowing that I'm out here helping other people to overcome or not even go to where I was back then.
Mm.
So that makes my life worth living.
All right. All right. Ready? Shot
Yes.
number two. Shot number two. If I could meet one person, past, present, or, well, I guess future, who would it be? Go.
Woo.
Yeah. Yeah. Good shot.
It would be, yes, that's a good one. And I would have to say it would be uh, PMJ, Pastor Mike McClure Jr.
Really?
I would like to meet him. Yes,
Really? Explain
yes,
why.
and because a friend turned me on to him. I thought he was just a musician. I didn't know he was an actual pastor. And
Mm.
she was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to go visit his church." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know he preached." And then I started listening to his sermons, and yeah, he reads me my rights every Sunday. So I would like to I would like to meet him.
All all right. Number three. Last one. Number three. Number three. I guess the preacher in me, I always go for three, the Trinity, I guess. I always, oh, it's
Yeah,
only three
come
shots.
on, three.
Here we go. Number three. If, and I'm taking these from the Fugees. You remember the Fugees? You
The
remember the
who?
Fugees? The Fugees.
Yes, come
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Here we go. If I rule the world,
Imagine that.
what? Finish that for me. If
If
I
I
was,
ruled the world,
yeah.
we would all have adequate health care, including mental health, adequate housing, adequate food. We
Wow.
would have our basic needs met if I ruled the world. I don't care who you are. And if you don't even like me, I don't care. I still want you to have your basic necessities to live on this planet.
Mm. And you know what's amazing?
Mm.
We have the income for that. We
Yeah,
have
we
the
do.
budget for that.
We do.
Wow. That's the part that gets me. That we actually can do that.
Yeah, we do.
Listen, listen. Please, this will not be the last time. It can't be the last time because
It
I have
won't be.
more. I have so much more I got to ask you. Like I say, you have so much information, so much knowledge. I have took some homework. I've done some homework. So you have something that not just women, but I believe men, people of
Yes.
all ages need to see. People are struggling for no reason daily,
Exactly.
you
Yep.
know. And when you have people who have that gift and done the homework and have that knowledge and has all of that, who says I am who I am, unapologetic, like you just said, use what I've gone through to make you better. Hey, I think we can definitely use that. We definitely use that.
Yeah.
So once again, y'all go ahead. I'm gonna get the whip of the website up. Please go get the book. Hey man, get the book. Go to these webinars. We need to support that. Don't be shocked you see me on there, and I'm going to
Oh,
share this as
definitely.
well. I am
Yeah.
so excited once again. Thank you for being with us in the cafe. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
for
with us in the
having
cafe.
me.
And to my cafe people, once again, you know how we do it. Please keep you some caffeine in your system. Keep it going. And until next time, hey, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Support, like, share, and subscribe. Go to her page, like, support, subscribe, share. Let's boost her up. I gotta boost our sisters up. Gotta boost our sisters up. All right, y'all. We out this cafe. Peace. Hey, again, everybody, thank you so much for your support of J Talk Podcast. Hey, like, subscribe, share, send your questions. Hey, send your questions. J81841017 at gmail.com. That's J81841017 at gmail.com. Send your questions, and we will answer your questions right there on the air on J Talk Podcast. Once again, thank you, love you, appreciate your support. Enjoy.